Ooh, what's going on, good people? It's your boy B3, aka the Kush Motivational Speaker. So I hope you guys are ready because we got another fun time on our hands. So get ready for the flight, because I am. Right. Yo, what's going on, good people? And welcome back to Zero Gravity. Yes. So you already know it's myself, the Kush Motivational Speaker, and of course my boy in the background, my co-producer, aka the Sound Ambassador, JC. What's going on back there, my man? Let them know you're here with me.
I'm here. I just can't get the buttons right.
See, please don't mind him. See, please don't mind him. He's still up there. He's waking up right now. But other than that, my guest around here today is actually another person who I consider extremely special. Not only is he a sound engineer who's been working around the Bay Area, but he's also a touring musician. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you got your notebooks and notepads ready because we're getting ready to get into some music today. So please give a round of applause for my boy Kent Soliday. What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Yes, thank you for coming to see us, bro. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course,
of course. Now you see, this is us all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man, thank you for sparing and giving us your time, bro.
Of course, of course, Brandon.
So I have to ask, since, like we said, sound engineer and a musician, of course.
Yes.
So how'd you get into the whole music field in the first place? Just like sound in general?
Well, I started playing piano when I was 7. I was terrible at it. Still am, kind of. But, that's fine. But after that being my first instrument, I started picking up other wind instruments, playing. I was a band nerd, essentially. That's the short answer.
Hey, that's all right.
I was a band nerd.
That's all right. I was there with you. I was a band nerd too.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Clarinet on my.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I played euphonium. I played tuba in high school.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
see?
I was carrying
you had the ear.
Yeah. I was the heartbeat of the band.
Yes, you are. That literally is. It's between that and percussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And then where'd the engineering part come to play?
So that's let's see. I want to say, so okay, it goes back to my dad. He was a journalist, and he was a sports writer, and he would always have tape recorders on him. He would interview football players with his tape recorders.
Oh, snap.
And so at some point, I started to get a hold of those tape recorders. And so I spent a lot of time as a young kid just recording to tape with a microphone, just like very bare bones, just like recording my voice, just like that's when it started. It was way back then, which is crazy because I always forget that. But that's really where my recording career began.
I think that's interesting because that's basically ENG, right? Electronic news gathering. You go out and you just record people's voices on the recorder. That's classic.
Yeah, and then I got a hold of those tape recorders, and then I had one of the cool ones that it was like a Sony. It had like the playback speed on it.
Oh,
snap.
And
I would just, And so I would just have hours of fun just like messing with the playback speed in my voice, and just like it was so fun.
You were pretty much
10 years old doing that. Yeah.
You were doing at 10 years old what people are doing now. So it's kind of like you were already getting groomed to be where you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Though.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the early start. And then later on, I want to say in college, that's when I started to actually I had a computer, and that's when I was just doing like home recording stuff. Like I just learned from, trial and error, like figuring out how to work a DAW. Yeah, my first DAW was Sony.
I think you might have to tell them.
What is a DAW?
Oh, digital audio workstation. So that's just essentially the applications on a computer that you would use to record. So it could be anything from Pro Tools to Fruity Loops to Logic.
Oh.
For some reason. Yeah.
Okay, Oh, nice. I
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just like learned how to record just by doing it doing it horribly and wrong for a long time, and then I figured out what I was doing. I took an audio class in college, and like our producer at work, our audio ambassador, he actually gave me some of his equipment too, and ended up giving me a really nice microphone that I still use to this day. It's a
Can
vintage
we get the model
Sony.
on that? It's a Sony, right?
It's a Sony C37P, and it's from the 70s, and it's this really cool vintage looking microphone that like I didn't know much about microphones, but I thought if he's like letting me use this microphone, it's probably not like that nice or worth anything. And then I found out that you could like sell it for like $1,200 on the internet, and I was like, oh, this is a legitimate microphone that I've been using, and I had no idea. I mean, I always thought it sounded good, but then I found out that it actually was good, and like a microphone that was like sought after by engineers like all over.
So you did the right thing and you gave it back immediately, right?
No, I still have it. Still use it to this day.
You'll get it back later, Jay.
Yeah.
You'll get it back later. And you know what? That actually moves into my next question. So if you guys haven't already realized that this gentleman here knows our sound ambassador.
Right.
So I actually wanted to ask him a couple cool questions. How did you even meet our sound ambassador?
Some of my friends were working with the company that we work for now, and I got thrown in there because they were like, you do pro audio, you should come like work these shows. And I was like, okay, sure. And so like my first gig, like essentially it was like doing stagehand work and stuff, but they kept pushing me towards Jason.
But what does that mean? What does stagehand work? Describe that.
I mean, I would say it's like doing the grunt work, setting up stages, like just setting up speaker systems and screens and all that stuff.
Setting up lights.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into productions like that, and there's all these tiny, like, doing drape and stuff where, you need a crew of people to do that.
Got to make it look good.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just doing that, but they kept pushing me into Jason. And I remember the first day I was working, I met Jason, and I took a look at the console that he was working on, the mixer.
Right.
And I saw that, and I was like, what is that? I don't know anything about this.
It looked like a spaceship.
Yeah, I mean, it was a Midas Pro series, and if you've ever seen it, it's like this like kind of silvery blue color. It really kind of does look like a spaceship.
He threw me. I remember when he first showed me. I don't see mixers all the time, but this one huge one he showed me once before. I was like, how are you supposed to reach from that area to that spot?
Right.
I'm kind of lost. And you're supposed to know all of this with everything, each frequency you're supposed to know.
Yeah, it was overwhelming at the beginning, and I had no idea what I was doing. But Jason was a great teacher, and
oh my God, dude, that's actually. Oh my God, I'm getting choked up. No, this is amazing to hear this perspective. Yeah.
He had no problems with showing me the ropes and all that with professional audio. And
I got to admit though, man, you came into the game with an ear, and that is the most valuable thing that you can have as a sound engineer.
I can see that about him though, because he said he pretty much has been practicing since he was 10 years old. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, yeah.
No, I mean, he was familiar with all of the audio engineering concepts already, right?
Yeah.
And what Kent needed was just to adapt to the specific format that we are doing, which is basically live broadcasts.
Right. Yeah. And I had worked like small consoles before, but just a couple vocal mics, And then he was showing me, wireless microphones and like sending out multiple buses to all kinds of speakers, and I was overwhelmed, and then I got it, and it took me a while, but he stuck with me, and now we're a team.
Oh well, let me say this. Not only did I stick with you, but in a lot of ways you stuck with me because not too long after we met, I'm just going to guess you might have a better memory than I do. You always do, Kent.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Was it a year after we met that I ended up breaking my neck in 2 places?
I think it was about 2 years after.
You knew
About 2
him?
years after. So
I knew him before he became broke neck Jason.
that's right.
And I met him when he was broke neck, Jason.
Yeah. He was showing up to work with his neck brace on, and we were like, "Are you okay? Are you good?" And
No.
he wasn't, and we
Not
could
good
tell
at
he
all.
wasn't. He was struggling.
Oh my God.
It's good to see him. But good to see you, Jason.
Bro, hey, I learned how to do my job high on opiates
Yeah.
See?
through that. That was an interesting experience to learn how to operate that way. Oh my God.
And you were functioning
That's
on like
skill.
muscle relaxants and stuff.
Yep.
Which is,
It was-
people take that as a sedative.
Yeah, right.
Know?
Take that to go to sleep. Don't
Yeah.
take that to
Uh-huh.
work.
I remember clearly a moment where Kent was like, "Oh, okay, so you're kind of on the pills." Like it was like my joking.
Cut
my-
on the pills.
I was getting a little too. There's like a term. I was getting a little too loose and loopy at work, and he was like, "Oh yeah, those are the pills talking." And I was like, that was my sign to be like, okay,
Hey,
try
it's
to
time
real
for me to calm down a bit.
because I
Oh, wow.
definitely fucked up at work.
You was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh boy. See, that's why I was happy to have him on. Not only that is because we get to get a little insight on Jay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people do ask about my sound ambassador back there. Yes, he is a very interesting character. That's why we click. He's crazy as hell. We love him. Isn't that right, Jay?
That's right. And I mean, I'm super happy that Mr. Kent made it in today because he's an essential part of my other life at work. So yeah, it's cool that you guys are meeting because you're both important.
Right.
It does my heart good to meet another person who has the producer ear like him.
Yeah.
So I complain all the time about this. Until you guys have worked with the audio engineer, you develop a producer ear too. I can't even watch movies or listen to certain things now without like literally picking it apart. You'll hear that or something random like that. Like I was watching a movie with my wife, and I didn't even see it. I was in the kitchen and she was playing it. It's like, what's wrong with it? She's like, what are you talking about? I come sit down with her. This sounds like shit. Who recorded this?
Right? No, it takes over. You're like, all of a sudden, it's like you got to do something about the fact that somebody fucked up recording this movie. And no longer are you attached to the plot or anything like that. You're just like,
Yeah.
why would they fucking do what? How did they let that?
You hear this random in the background. Nobody else notices it but you. And you're kind of like, are you the crazy one?
Yeah.
No, my ear's a little more high pitched now,
Yeah.
more tuned.
Oh yeah.
Like-
I've actually been with Kent. We traveled a lot together over the years, and we'd be in some strange environments. You know, we would be in like a hotel in Pasadena or something, standing in a hallway. You know.
Oh yeah.
And he would be like 16K, and I'd be like, what?
Just like clapping
Yeah.
all in a big ballroom. It's like
You like to hear the echo. That ambient, that nice little sound.
yes and no. We like to hear the echo, and then we want to try and control it if we can.
It's like it's like the
Right.
equivalent of the doctor poking you. Does it hurt there? Does it hurt? there?
Yeah. 'Cause-
Well, I like that because you're trying to control this. You're trying to make the sound, but then control it at the same time.
and understand like where you're working and things like that. Yeah.
That's beautiful, though. So, actually, now with that being said, being the musician. Now, me and Jason have talked about this before. Now, you being a touring musician, right?
Yes.
How did you go about getting into now you got to be good in order to tour. So I'm like, you got to be somewhat good to tour. So like, how did you get involved with the whole touring aspect, or how did that go?
So I was in a band for many years, and this band was a group of a bunch of my friends from high school. And we played a lot of shows locally. We were kind of like a oh my gosh, like a punk band with horns, but we weren't ska. So everyone would call us ska, and we'd be like, no, not ska.
We're different now. We are in a different.
No.
genre.
But anyway, so we played a lot of shows locally, and with that, eventually we started, we had 2 members of the band who actually went to UC Santa Barbara.
Oh.
And some of the first shows we started to play outside of the Bay Area were in Isla Vista, which those were fun shows. Just hanging out in Isla Vista was wild. We like had a small following in Isla Vista. We had a big group of friends, and we did a couple weekends down in Isla Vista, and then somehow we like just our singer, he met this band from Corona, California. I don't know if you know where Corona, California is. It's like Riverside County.
Isn't that where the lab was?
No. That's not where they made it.
Oh, the
sir.
lab. No, not like that. Not COVID, California.
The manufacturing.
I had to take it old school.
We're not manufacturing.
It's where they manufacture Fender guitars, but,
Oh,
but not COVID. So we met this band from Corona, and they invited us to come play a show at some bar in Corona, and we did that at like a couple weekends. So it's like, you know, we started playing shows in Southern California, and it wasn't long after that we started to do full West Coast, like Seattle to Southern California tours. And then in 2015, we did our first full U.S. tour, which was a month long in July. That was my first time,
Give me
you know,
some.
being on the road like that. That was my first experience with it. And it was all DIY. Like, it was just hitting up people on Facebook at that point, because Facebook was more of a thing at that point, and Facebook was really helpful for musicians trying to book shows and stuff. It's not so much a thing anymore. It's hard to do DIY now because Facebook has fallen off so much, and nothing's really replaced it. But that's how the tour was booked. Like, it was a lot of basement shows, a couple small venues that were cool. We actually joined a band from Massachusetts, from Boston. Bunch of guys from Berklee College of Music.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, they had a
I
band.
was getting it.
Yeah. And so they knew how to book shows. Like, you know, it was DIY, but like they had spots, you know, they had venues. And so we did like the East Coast with them, which was awesome. And then we came back and just played wherever we could. You know,
oh man, you pretty much a rock star, bro. I'm like, how did that feel to know that about it? You're literally going to shows with
it was
you got
so
a nice
fun. Group. It was really fun. Like, and it didn't matter at that point to us. It didn't matter if the show like was a flop. If we were playing to a couple people, like, and they were having a good time, that's all we cared about. Like, and you know, the people who were running the shows, they were good about, you know, giving us whatever money they could, like, so that we could just, it would go directly into the gas tank.
Right. I was going to say the gas tank or food. Yeah. So it was one or the other.
And we were a big band, so it's not like we were in like a small car or anything. We were in a van and a trailer, like a 15-passenger van and a trailer. So that's a lot in gas. And we made it happen. I think we only had to cancel like 1 or 2 shows. Like, they just didn't happen. But like, we played over 25 shows that month. It was the most shows I had ever done consecutively like that. And if you're a musician and you've never been on a tour like that, where you're just playing night after night after night, it is one of the best things you can do, because you become such a better musician that way. And especially with your bandmates too, like, you start to really lock in, like, more so than like if you practice a lot. Like, you just, like, I don't know, there's something about being on stage and playing every night that just gets you so tight. And it was very noticeable, and it was a huge turning point for our band and like our quality of like playing and music. And
what they call baptism by fire.
Yeah.
You're either gonna come out stronger, or you're not coming out at all. Yeah. That's beautiful. And I want to just catch on something that you had said before. You know, you didn't even care if you didn't have a large turnout. You transition now from a musician to an artist, because when you love your craft, you're no longer a musician, you're an artist.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can see that in you, bro. It's only going to get better for you from there on in. And, you know, with that being said, you know, there's always a lot of naysayers, a lot of bullshitters out there that's always talking mess. And a musician, an artist, that's an entrepreneur. What people don't seem to understand, that's an entrepreneurship right there.
Totally,
that is
yeah.
really entrepreneur work right there. And then with the sound engineering too, that's still a form of entrepreneurship as well, because you could take that anywhere.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, because like I said, there's always people talking mess about your craft. There's people always blah, blah, blah. So what's one myth about your, you know, about your craft that you think you would like to debunk, you know, on both sides, with the sound engineering and with being the artist, as I was saying before?
I'll start with musicianship or being an artist. I think it's like being on tour it's a lot of work.
Right. There's a lot of glitz and glam when they talk about touring.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like you're on the clock nonstop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, you're just like driving from city to city, like trying to get as much sleep as you can and, you know, loading in, unloading. I mean, at this point, like, you know, we're doing everything ourselves. Like, it's not until recently that like we'd show up to a venue and there'd be hands there to help us load in and stuff. But
oh, so you're doing it all when you're touring.
Yeah.
So you're unloading the truck, loading the truck, getting the stage ready. That's all you.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, there's people working there, you know.
You know, there.
Yeah. But you know, we're setting up everything. We're lugging everything around, making sure, you know, we have everything we need, making sure we're not leaving anything important at the venues that could really, you know, throw a wrench in our playing a show. Like if I left my keyboard stand, I'm always afraid I'm gonna do that. Luckily, I haven't.
Right. I was just gonna say no.
But yeah, so it's just a lot of work. It's tiring. It's you know, we have fun, but it's not like we're, you know, on vacation. That's essentially
no, because you're working.
I think, and I think a lot of people probably know that, but just I want to say,
you know,
like,
outsiders looking.
We're not on vacation.
See, we're
working our asses off.
Say it one more time, because people have been saying that they always think that you guys are just having the best time of your lives.
We are, but we're working.
It's not easy.
No.
This is work.
Yes.
This is work. Like you said, we're on the clock when we get out there on the road.
Right. Yeah.
That's cool though, because that actually doesn't that groom you? That pretty much touring like that, you know, touring like that just pretty much grooms you for the better stuff on the way.
Exactly. And it's not until recently that we've had like a band manager and a booker, and we've had people, like just people who would come on tour with us just to be we call them road dogs. Usually that means they're doing merch and or tour managing. TMing for us, which it's always helpful having a TM. They can, you know, be in contact with, I mean,
A what?
a tour manager.
Tour manager.
Here we go.
Yes.
See, look, he got term. He had to get he had to get real technical with us.
Yeah. Tour managers are really nice to have. Somebody who's doesn't have to be on stage performing. Somebody who can
make sure you get paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure you get paid.
Yeah. we did so I was talking about my old band, but my band now, this band called Save Face. We're from
Right on. Look it up. We'll put some graphics
we'll make
in there.
Throw up there.
Yep. We're from New Jersey. I don't live in New Jersey. I got recruited to be in a band from New Jersey, which is, I never thought that would happen.
See?
I know.
That means you got skills.
Yeah.
Sir.
I mean, I live thousands of miles away, and you know, my guy Tyler is just like, I want you to be in the band. And I was like, okay.
That's awesome, man. Congrats on that.
Yeah, that's congrats. That just lets you know your skill transcends.
Yeah.
It transcends cities and states.
Yeah. So we were really fortunate late last year to go on do a 2-week tour in the UK. So we went to England for a couple weeks.
How was that?
It was crazy. It was wild.
What?
And it was very last minute too. But you only had a couple months in advance that we knew it was going to happen, because we went on tour with a bigger band. They were like, we need somebody to come with us. And we were like, we'll do it. And we knew, like, it's hard. It's expensive. You know, you got to get flights out there.
God.
And we knew it wasn't going to, like, you know, necessarily make us money at all. But, like, we wanted to go. Like, and we had done a tour with the band. The Wonder Years was the band we went on tour with. They're from Philly.
Shout out Wonder Years.
Wonder Years, yeah. Big fan. They needed a band, and we were like, we'll do it. And so they said yes. We flew out. We had 6 people. We rented a little Volkswagen van, whatever we could get that was automatic. None of us drive stick. And we were going to save a lot of money by driving ourselves, but none of us have ever driven in the UK before.
Right.
So that in itself, I ended up driving a lot.
Isn't the thing? Isn't the driver's seat's on the opposite side?
It's on the opposite side, and you drive on the other side of the road. And we just got thrown into it.
So all of your instincts are completely gone out the window.
Yes.
You can't trust your muscle memory, none of
No.
that, right?
I'm already trying to think. Nah, we would have crashed.
It was wild. I
would've cried.
didn't drive first. Our tour manager, Connor, he drove first. They picked us up from the airport, and I got in the van, and I was in the left side as a passenger. And that alone is terrifying because you're used to being in that position and being in control.
You're in control, right?
But you're not.
like
and so you just feel like, you know,
You're hitting your foot on the gas.
Yeah.
There's no gas here.
there's no brake.
What's going on?
So there's a real thrill there, just alone. And then you actually drive, and it's wild. Driving, if I could never drive in London again, that'd be fine. I was driving in the city last night, and I was like, this is easy.
I could tell y'all. I could show you some hard drives.
Yeah, San Francisco is not an easy city to drive in.
When in doubt in San Francisco, I just hit the brakes, like, quite often.
Yeah.
Last time I was in San Francisco, I had forgotten how to drive there, and it was funny. It was funny. I had lots of people beeping at me.
You got the guts to drive out there. Not me, no. Not in this new car I have. My old car, it was a smaller one. I had a Ford Mustang. That was cool for driving out there. This behemoth, me driving that out, no. I won't find a park. I won't find anything out there at all. But with that being said, what about on the engineering side?
Right.
What would you say sort of a myth that people say about, because I know Jason gives me he gives me bits and pieces. But what about you? What would you say?
I mean, I think, it's also, I'm going out on a limb a little bit, but it's an artistic craft of its own. And the truth is, like, there's no right or wrong way to do that, to do audio engineering, as long as you're doing what needs to happen. You know,
I like that. Give me some. As long as you're doing what needs to happen.
No, it's a subjective art, right? I mean, you have to learn what not to do, and then I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I don't know how to answer that one.
See how these artists work. Because I consider you an artist. Sound engineering you're right. That is an art form because he's taught me so much about audio and like I come from mainly the screen acting background, so we care less. We could care less about audio unless we sound good, pretty much, And then I started jumping into also voice acting. I will have to have to bump your brain about that because that's the field I'm trying to get into as well.
Right.
And I've dibbled and dabbled.
Yeah.
And but learning about audio in general, like Jason was letting me know, it's pretty much a science.
Yeah.
It's a certain formula that you need to, like you said, make sure you're doing things that need to be done. Yeah. Like you said, there's a formula you have to follow, right? And then what would you say? I have his, but what about yours? What would you say is a good formula to make sure that, like you said, you're doing it right?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
That's why I have to, because he'll go on for hours too. So that's why I was like, I want to mess with you too. Let's see.
Honestly, that I'm gonna sidestep the question a little bit and say this. This is a funny analogy I just came up with.
Ooh.
All right, I love it off the top.
Yep.
audio engineers are like pilots, you know. You're not you're just controlling the sound around you. It's like, you know, a pilot's not in control of physics. A pilot who's flying an airplane, like he just knows how to how to keep the plane in the air, you know,
not kill us.
yeah. So I mean, really, it's like it's just
You're more like you're the guide.
yes, yeah. We're controlling it. It's
I
like,
love that, man.
It's
That's
like
so cool.
it's like you're fire bending,
And you know what?
but with but with
I like
audio,
that.
with
Dude,
waves.
that's beautiful because
Airbending.
Audio bender. Yeah. Audio bender. I like that.
so you also went to flight school at some point in your
true.
life, which is now a
Oh,
good point.
right.
I have some hours.
No wonder why we brought up
been-
the flight in this.
Right.
Ah.
Tell us about that.
Couple hours. I started flying planes before I started driving cars.
Wait. Hold on. Back that up. What?
No, I haven't flown a plane in 15 years, but
But you flew before you drove
yeah,
first.
I flew before I drove. I went to a flight camp in Arizona. When I was
So
15.
basically, if you're driving around this motherfucker, you should be very careful because he's never had to worry about running into shit. You know?
Except a cloud or two.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. Yeah, because I mean, flying is weird. It's definitely strange. But soon after I started, you know, taking lessons, is when I started to drive, and I thought driving was terrifying. And flying
There's no
was
air,
okay.
there's no traffic control.
Yeah. Like when you're in the air, it's like there's fewer things to hit. Like, you know, the plane flies itself.
My
There's-
heart is already sunk.
The plane flies itself. The car, you let go of the wheel at the wrong second, you're going into like a tree, you know?
Yeah, you got some buffer time up there in the air, don't you?
Oh, yeah,
You can like let
absolutely.
go and go.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at me, mom.
Ah.
No hands.
As long as you don't put the plane in a flat spin, which is I don't know if you've ever heard of a flat spin. Oh, we don't have to go into the details of this. Now I'm getting.
No, that's what this.
Essentially, it's like the plane stops flying and you're going in a spin, and they're hard to get out of. It's something that pilots are trained to recover from because it's just they have to learn
Every
how
once in a while that could happen.
yeah,
Type thing.
who knows, you know? And so essentially, it's like the plane is spinning like flat. It's why it's called a flat spin, and it's just hard to get lift under the wings again.
Oh my God.
That
I just learned something new today about
going
planes.
off the yeah.
You know, you know that's so funny because I thought that was like a tailspin.
I think those might be similar. I'm not sure
I don't
if
know
there's
either.
a
Don't
you know.
quote me on that.
It seems like a good time to quit flight school when you learned about that. You're like, you know what? I think maybe I'll just go into music.
Tailspin.
Right. Well, before I get too far off, because now you got me, and now I'm terrified. You know, we're going into the audio engineering game and musician game too. I always wondered, what would you say was one thing you wish you knew before you decided to jump into either one?
Oh man.
Stumped him.
Yeah,
something you wish you would have known before you decide to dive in deep.
Wish you would have known that Jason was gonna break his fucking.
Yeah, would you have known if you would have known this crazy guy who broke his neck was going to be the one to continue working with, or like you know?
I think I wish because I mean I really didn't know, like, you know, when I started recording stuff, I didn't know there was a career in it. If I had known when I was 10 years old, recording with a tape recorder, that you know people did that kind of thing professionally, then you know maybe I would have started you know recording on a more professional rig earlier or sooner, and I could have had like a goal to be like, okay, I want to go like you know work in a studio or something like that, and still like to this day like something I've always wanted to do that I haven't done is to shadow an engineer at a studio. I mean, like I shadowed Jason, but that was working ballrooms all over.
Right,
Which
and
is a
it's-
totally different vibe.
Ballrooms like
Hotel ballroom.
Oh,
doing live events.
Oh, nice.
Conference center, convention centers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good time to mention that live audio engineering is not the same as like producing a record or
Right.
recording a band.
Yeah,
It's a whole
there's different
animal.
aspects of both.
Jason had actually gave me a little sample of something that you guys had worked on not too long ago, and you were the voice.
Yeah.
You were the voice actor for the introductions.
Yes, yeah,
Beautiful.
I do that a lot. Yeah, and you know, Kaiser
Actually,
gave.
yeah, Yeah, we have a little bit of it.
Yeah, we got a couple samples.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. So we were in the studio recently, and I decided to, I should have tipped the guy for this, but I decided to try to squeeze a little bit of extra work out of him to give my kids some VOGs to work with. So, and VOGs is abbreviation for voice of God.
Voice of God.
But if that offends you, it could be voiceover guy or voiceover girl. Okay.
I've seen roles like that where they literally just say "voice of God."
Yeah, voice of God,
audition
yeah.
for those.
Yep. Here we go.
Attention, please. Playtime is now over, and it's time to get ready for martial arts. Once again, the martial arts vehicle will be leaving shortly. Please get in the vehicle and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
And that's our guy.
That? Y'all hear that?
That's
What I'm talking about. Yeah.
This guy, when you put this dude on the mic, he's not a rapper as far as I know, right? But I would think that he would be one of the best rappers to work with as an engineer because this guy's voice, it hits in the same place every time. Level-wise, frequency-wise, it's the most consistent.
About you too. Yeah.
It is so consistent. I love recording this dude.
It's like mine's just gets like when I'm performing, mine's gets deeper. It sometimes stays at the same tone, but majority of the time it starts getting deeper.
Well, that's cool though.
That's why I mainly go for voice of God,
Yeah.
or I'm either voice of God or voice of the devil. It's usually one or the other.
You got the mustache for you.
See, thank you. See, I was going for that.
You look like you're tying somebody up to train tracks right now. I love it. That's not a diss at all.
What do you call what was it off the Wacky Racers?
Yes, there you go.
Snively, I can't think of it. But so and then what about engineering wise? What would you think there was something you wish you would have known before you jumped in?
Oh, that definitely
one?
that. Yeah, that
And
was
then-
it.
And what
For
about music wise?
Music, I think I wish I had known that, because in my band right now, I am essentially like multi-instrumental. Like I kind of play whatever instrument needs to be played. So I'll switch from piano, play guitar. I've done bass before, like if I had to. Yeah. So it's like I go
you're
from
well-rounded.
Yeah. So I go from being keyboard full-time to being guitar full-time, depending on, what's going on. Sometimes we have an extra person playing with us.
So now that I have to ask, how many instruments do you know how to play?
Oh, man.
Oh, I got it. Let's invert that question. Let's ask him, what is the instrument we should never ask you to play? What?
The one that we should never ask. Well, I want
Piano. The first one, the first instrument.
It's piano?
Don't ask me to play the piano. I'll play the tuba in front of you. I don't care.
the piano.
The piano's, it's hard. It's crazy. It's like learning to play the piano was the key for me to learn how to play all the other instruments I know, but the piano is just so hard to like. My mind just can't fathom the amount of different things that you could do all at once.
Oh yeah.
There's so many different ways of playing that thing and just like chord building and like I want to get more into it and really like I like our producer Larry, when he plays the piano, he just starts going and it's amazing and I want to play like that.
Shout out to Larry.
Yeah.
Larry,
our
Oh
producer.
man, love that.
Larry,
guy.
Executive producer.
Yes, pass that word out there.
Larry is watching over us like a god of production, watching over us right now.
I love that about you.
But yeah, I would say I wish I knew that I was gonna. I feel like I focused a lot of my time on learning to play my original instrument, and that was bass. And I wish I had known that I was gonna, be playing more guitar and piano later on down the road, and have to be switching so much. I mean, it's been fun. I'm enjoying playing guitar more these days. It's not my first instrument
Right.
on stage. And so it wasn't until last year that I really started to get more comfortable playing on stage in front of people with guitar.
Beautiful though. And would you say that that's kind of like the instrument you would rather be on is the guitar, or which one do you feel more comfortable with?
These days, yeah.
The guitar.
Guitar, yeah. It's so fun. I always was afraid of it because I knew my experience in performing on stage was limited, but now that I've got like it under my belt, playing in front of like 2,000 people out of nowhere, like playing shows in front of 2,000 people, playing an instrument I wouldn't call as my first instrument, and just being like, I'm okay, I got it.
I'm killing this, 2,000. Yeah.
Are you like playing solos like behind your neck, like with the guitar over your head?
No. I'm more focused on making sure I don't mess up. It's when I get to the point where I know I won't, or I don't care as much, and I can just kind of go on autopilot, then I'll start doing stuff like that. But right now, I'm just like, I want this to sound good.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you feel? A lot of people, outsiders looking in, they don't know how it feels to be on stage. Like I love being on stage just as much as anybody else. But can you explain to others what does that feel like, being on stage and actually just rocking the hell out of it?
It really, like, you're in a zone, like, and I mean, I'm sure it's similar. I've never done acting on a stage or anything like that, but you're just in a headspace that's like nothing else. Like, you're so focused, and a lot of times, like, this is probably just for me, maybe not for everybody, but I'm so focused on performing and doing my thing that sometimes I forget I just got to look up and look at the people, and sometimes I do it and I'm like, oh my God. Okay, back to playing.
It's like you're in the zone. You're in the zone.
Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah.
So it sounds like it's like you're like kind of like, oh, I need to enjoy this amazing moment. It's so real, and you're like, oh, that's too much real.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right.
No. It's like yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Hold on.
It's not fear. It's more of like, wow. Okay, I'm gonna. This is crazy.
That's cool. That is really cool. See, I like that. See, they consider I'm a performing artist. We are both considered performing artists.
Right.
Because you are performing, nonetheless. That's a skill.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people could do that. And for being able to play it and you read music as well?
A little bit.
See,
yeah. I haven't had to in years, honestly. I used to, a lot.
See, and it's kind of, after you learn a certain thing, it's hard to forget too. Because like I said, I haven't played the clarinet in years, but for some odd reason, I could pick up my music book and I could still see that's a C. That's a D.
And you know all the finger
and all the finger placements. Like it's burned
still
back there.
Yeah. Sometimes I still play scales on the tuba in my brain. And I do the the valves.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm just going in my head, and I'm like, I still know how to do this scale. Like,
it's muscle memory now.
Yeah, muscle memory. Yeah,
cannot forget it.
No.
So I'm gonna get a little deep with you now.
All right.
So we all, like I like to say, we learn from our failures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask you, being that, because in this industry, just the industry alone, anything can happen. So I always ask, what would you say was one of your biggest failures? It might not have to be, super huge, but a failure that you feel like you had to face, but you actually learned something from it afterwards.
He's never failed.
I was just going to say, don't you feel that? Don't you feel that? Man, how long has it been since I've actually failed?
I think I'm going through this thing right now where I work on my own music as well, just like my own projects, ground up. And I'm always afraid to release my music. Like, I don't know what it is. I think part of it is that it's all me and I'm not working with anybody else, like an engineer or other musicians. I just get
does
scared.
That make it? Is it too vulnerable?
Maybe, yeah. And I'm always worried as an audio engineer that
there's something you didn't hear,
or it sounds bad. Because when you listen and engineer your own music, you're hearing it in a way that somebody on the outside who was working with you, like, they don't hear it that way because they didn't write the song. So to them, they're hearing it more strictly as, this is all the tracks. They mix it differently than I do, because in my head, it's like, that's where it began. And it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to mix your own music. It's hard to engineer your own music.
Yeah, it's a known thing in audio engineering that it's not a good idea to master your own stuff because by the time you get to that stage, you're just burnt out on the project itself, and you don't have a good perspective.
Right. Exactly. It's about perspective. And so I've held off on like releasing so much music, and people have always like supported me and told me, "Hey, you should do it. Hey, you should do it. Hey, you should do it." And I'm always like, I don't know, man. It's like I should probably get somebody else to mix it and master it. But then like some of my bandmates have their own projects, and they just release their music, and they're like, I'm just gonna throw it out there and do it because that's what musicians do. They make music and they want to just like share it with people. And I think that's helped me feel like, okay, I should just do it. I should stop worrying about it and maybe just throw it out there. And
Exactly.
And maybe it's not as big of a deal as I'm making it out.
Well, I can say that I have been fortunate enough to have Mr. Kent slide me a couple of his mixes.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to say it old school. I was wicked impressed instead of hella impressed. No, I was really impressed.
Massachusetts.
It was very, man, it was mixed beautifully. It was recorded beautifully. And your vocals were, holy shit. I was like, this kid can sing, man. What the
That's something I haven't even talked about is, I honestly, singing is kind of what I really like. Like, I love singing on stage. Like, I could play whatever instrument. I don't care. But when when I got a microphone, I mean, and it makes sense because I do voiceovers. I've been recording my voice for so many years. But, like, I just love screaming into a microphone. And it's so fun. And, like, fortunately, when I joined Saveface, Tyler was like, that's what I want you to do. And I was like, cool.
I can do that. I can do that.
I'd love to.
It's beautiful though.
Yeah.
See, and that's what I said. We learn from our failures, and look, it just helps you grow.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I'm just want to tell you this, that you, sir, are an inspiration. You do know that, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just you inspire everyone. Heck, Jason probably hasn't said it, but you inspire him as well. So you make us all work harder. And the one thing is that because we know that you're out there working harder, you're out there getting better, and people who are trying to be motivators and things of that nature don't look for that. You're not looking to get praised for that. And that's why I want to just let you know that you're an inspiration to a lot of people out there. And with that being said, what inspires you?
Ooh. Oh, man.
microphones and tape recorders.
I mean, I know, like, but on a deeper level, I'm like, what inspires me?
Yeah, what inspires you to get up in the morning and be ready to put in some work? Be ready to get ready to get down in that book and make some new jams. What makes you get up and say, I'm finna fuck this shit up today?
It's probably just, the feeling of making music. It's been something that's been a part of my life for so long, and it's like I feel like it's something that I just do it, and I enjoy it, and I don't know. I like, I'm trying to think, like, when I'm on tour, like, those are hard days being on the road, and you never know where you're gonna be sleeping, and like I said, it's like a job, and it's like, and I just, like, I've found that, like, I'm in show mode. I'm just like, I'm ready to go. And I think it helps, like, having bandmates. They definitely inspire me. Like, what they do is amazing. I honestly, like, am so glad that I'm in a band with people like the people I'm in a band with. They're great people. And, they keep me going. Like, they are my team, and I feel supported by them, and I don't take it for granted. That's for sure.
That's beautiful. That's funny because I was just getting ready to ask you right after that was, who do you feel were the 3 most influential people in your life?
Oh, good one.
And that's why I give it 3. Who do you think? 3. Give me 3, top 3.
All right, well,
Top
give him 4 just because I'm in there already. Just
Yeah,
Jason.
see? No, but he's not bragging. But he's not bragging.
I'm just trying to like overinflate here.
Well, all right. Since Jason, we'll go ahead and throw his ass in there. So we'll make it 4. So go ahead.
All right. Well, so Jason.
Right. Yeah.
All right, we're done. That's it.
That's it. Nope. All right, take the mic off.
Right.
Definitely my dad, because he got me into to recording from the beginning. Definitely my dad.
And your dad, man, I just got to say this just in a little bit of insight as well. His dad, holy crap, I didn't know about his dad, and then I looked his dad up, and I was impressed. So he was a sports journalist. Yeah. So that was really cool. When I looked up his pops, I was like, wow.
Well, I mean, that's why, see, the energy that dad put out is pretty much.
He's a writer and a creative one at that. Like, he had fun with it.
Now we see why you're see, it didn't fall far from the tree, right?
Like, reading his writing, I was like, you could read sports stories, but he just had this way of writing that was just fun. Like, and he wasn't afraid to just be himself when he wrote. So definitely my dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, big respect to dad.
Trying to think.
We got 2. We got 2 more. We got 2 more.
I got 2.
No, you still have one. You really had one. So, Dad. All right, we can go back in time. We can go back to when you were little.
Oh yeah, because there's no stipulation. Like I said, as long as we get those 2 extra people.
I know they're in there. I just
give it time. Don't worry. Because what'll end up happening is when we're done recording, then he'll be like, "Damn, I should have said those."
Exactly. That's what I know is gonna happen. I'm like, why didn't I say them? I don't know.
I can tell that your friends have been such a good influence.
Yeah, because we did say band. He did say bandmates earlier. I know that's a. We'll kind of.
One in particular is my good friend Sam Kless.
Here.
He was in my first band essentially, and we've been in bands since then. But like, he wanted to be in a band with me, and he helped make it happen. And without him, who knows if I would have ever been in a band. And that's just the truth.
That's beautiful.
So it's a big deal that like we met in jazz band when I was in high school. And we're these days we're doing the same thing. Like, he's a touring musician too, And
See? Yeah,
we've done tours together. We've been all over the country.
They say iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah.
See, that's cool.
Yeah.
I got one. You gotta give me one more.
All right, one more.
I need one more, man. Need one more.
I wanna. It's got to be somebody with a voice. Oh my gosh. Pulling out my phone.
Adele.
I want to make sure I say
Adele.
Beyonce.
So
I got my last person.
yes.
I got my last person.
All right.
If you still want to hear that.
Oh, you dang right I do. Come on.
There is a voice actor, and his name is Jim Cummings. I don't know if you guys know him.
I'll probably
Look into
his
him.
work.
You know him because you've heard his voice. He does so many voices of cartoon characters, like Winnie the Pooh.
The old school Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah, like
Oh, okay.
He's got the most versatile voice, and it's just so iconic. And
What other characters?
I'm like so many.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Orlando.
There you go.
guys were out in Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando. Playing House of Blues.
Orlando, are you doing good? Are you doing good?
Breakdown.
Man,
Oh, y'all performance though.
your lead
okay.
singer is wild, man.
Yeah.
And then how long ago was this?
This was last year. About a
last
year ago.
year?
Yeah, year ago.
Oh, wow. No.
This was a really cool venue too. I mean, whoever filmed this is like right up front, but it's a big room, really beautiful room.
Bro. Jay, that was good pick. Not bad at all. Bro.
That's what I do.
See, we got a good glimpse of what this man be putting out, putting in work on the stage, though. Ooh.
Nice. It's funny to me, man, that's your other life because the life that I live with that guy is like very controlled.
It's not like that.
It is a very controlled
It's
environment.
totally different.
Yeah. So it's funny to see you guys going crazy like that.
You know, I know I had a question. I know I sent you the list, and I know it has motivational quote question. It's because I usually pick out a certain motivational quote for, like, because he gave me a decent little bit of insight on you, and I figured I wanted to pick this quote for you, and I wanted to see how you felt about it.
Okay.
So, bear with me, because I know I wrote it last minute, but
This is you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
so
Great.
I'd rather attempt to do something great and fail than attempt to do nothing and succeed. How does that make you feel?
It's beautiful. I'm gonna keep that one.
It's
you
like,
know.
I sense that a lot in you because none of this came easy.
No.
All this was work.
Yeah. There's a lot of sacrifice in it.
And I don't think you would want to do it if it came easy.
No.
You know, I don't think you would want to do it if it came easy. You seem like the type to actually, if I'm going to do this, I'm not only going to do it right, but I'm going to do it to the point where I won't make any more mistakes
Yeah.
that I did back then.
Right.
I've learned my mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's what I get a lot of that from you, man. And like I was saying before, you're motivation.
Thank
You're
you.
motivation and an inspiration. And with all of that being said, what's next for you?
Writing an album
Oh,
with the band, this band with Stay Face. We're taking a year off from touring. We might do a tour in the fall, but we're planning on recording coming up this summer. So we're gonna spend a month in the studio, which I've never done a month in the studio. Usually I'll do a couple days, but we're gonna be there. We're gonna
you got a
essentially
whole-
be living there, you know.
Ooh,
So-
so we got albums. We got an album coming out. Y'all better be ready. I'm juiced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Save face, right?
Yeah, Save Face.
Save face.
That means you got to come back in like 6 months to tell us how it's going.
Okay.
Damn right. You better come back, man. And now we do this a lot. Give you at least a good 20, maybe 15-second commercial, bro. Tell us how they can get a hold of you, how they can find you, all your tags, all the jazz. And let's go.
Active on Twitter.
Camera three.
Camera 3.
Camera 3, sorry. Twitter. Save Face New Jersey. Instagram, Save Face New Jersey. Check us out on Spotify. We got several albums on there. Yeah, any streaming platform. We're up there. YouTube too. Our music's on YouTube. Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Well, bro, Thank you. Thank you. The energy you came in with today was something that's always needed, sir.
Great.
I have to
I'm
say.
glad.
You see, when you came in, we were ready.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, when Jason said what he said, I could not wait to get you in here, bro, because I just knew that if you're a producer is anything like his, you got to be a cool ass dude too, you know. So I just want to say again, thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you guys.
And y'all, again, I want to say thank you everyone for tuning in to Zero Gravity, and I can't wait to see y'all again. So as my favorite saying, work harder on your dream than your job. Good night. Bro, dog, I told you.